It is unbelievable. People are on there 18 hours a day, 24 hours a day. And the moderators, so there's moderators on the stage, and then there's speakers, and then there's the audience. You can raise your hand, they pull people up. And I'm talking to people like BJ Fogg and Marshall Goldsmith. And I've met Marshall before and know him, but I never met BJ Fogg before. I quote him in chapter 7 of my book, The Core Value Equation. I talk about his amazing book, Tiny Habits. What's up, guys? Welcome to The Greatness Machine. I'm your host, Darius Mirshahs, and I'm so pumped to have you here with me. Now listen, The Greatness Machine is about two things. Number one, people who are living their passions. And number two, those who are creating greatness in the world. Doing both of these despite the odds against them. Each episode, we're going to feature interviews of world-class speakers and business leaders, showcasing their origin story, what made them tick, what got them to where they are now, so it can help you step into your greatness within your own life, business, and career. Occasionally, you might hear a few solo episodes from myself, moi as I say, as I leverage my 20 years in entrepreneurship as a CEO to help you grow and level up in your journey to scale your life and your business. So come be a fly on the wall, enjoy the conversation and messages, and I'm stoked to have you guys here. Why I think Facebook is totally fucked. Yeah, I said it. Facebook, you're fucked. I have been, first of all, Facebook's kind of like I used to be a bouncer at a nightclub, okay? But nightclubs are very fickle business. And what would happen in nightclubs, they'd be really popular and like all the hot people would show up. And then they would be way less popular. And I'm going to say this, it would kind of suck, but the crowd would be less attractive, like significantly less attractive. And that it would be like the B team would show up. And so if you're in a nightclub and it's a lot of B teamers, then I guess you're either part of the B team or you're in the wrong nightclub. But I noticed that in my nightclub. The nightclub I worked at was like hot. It was like the Studio 54 of Santa Barbara, California. And it went from that to being the B team. And I had to I had a kind of a fucked up job. I had to profile people a little bit. And if they weren't dressed properly, we called it DC, dress code them, because my manager wanted pretty people in the club. And so I was 22 years old, 21 years old. I just fall in direction. But I noticed that people would kind of hop around from nightclub to nightclub, and then the new place would open up, and that would be the popular place. And all the hot people would go there. And as an adult, I noticed the same thing with social media. I noticed that there's always the hot new club you got to get into. And, oh, man, are you on Friendster? Oh, have you heard of that thing called MySpace? Oh, yeah, everyone's on it. And so, I'm old school. So I'm Friendster, MySpace, then Facebook. I got on Facebook back when you had to have a .edu to get on the thing. So I wasn't in college because that was originally, it was started at Harvard with Mark Zuckerberg, but you had to actually be in college to get into it. And so I wasn't, but I was an alumni. So I went to my alumni association. I got a .edu, Gaucho, UC Santa Barbara. And when I got my .edu from the alumni association, I got in early. So I was in early 07. And you still had to have a .edu. So it was cool. I was like, oh man, I could see all these people I haven't seen since high school. So I created this really dumb idea to go and friend everyone I ever knew, which is the worst idea ever. But Facebook got really popular, as we all know, and become this historic thing, and it's changed the world in some ways. And then there was Snapchat and Instagram, and I never really understood Snapchat too much, and I think they kind of fumbled the ball a little bit a few years ago, and since done better. But I think I was also in my 30s, so I was like, it seems like kind of lame. I didn't get it. Some ghost. But Instagram I liked because it was way less noise than Facebook. Way, 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 way less noise. And obviously there's a graveyard of other, social media stuff that I'm not even get into, and stuff that's not as pervasive as the ones I'm talking about. But I got hooked up. I got an invite. I don't know, in December for this app called Clubhouse that, I've never seen anything like it. It's unbelievable. One of the guys on the app today that I was in a room, and he compared it to going to a concert. You got like the main stage and the side stages. I compare it to like going to a conference. Similar, but you have some of the best speakers are sometimes in the smallest rooms at conferences. The people that you haven't yet discovered, and you go in there and you can sit in the crowd and listen to them talk, or you're a panelist on stage. And this app is unfreaking believable. I mean, you go in there, you're networking, you're talking to just the most amazing people.
Are you guys enjoying the show so far? Darius here, and by now you might know that I'm passionate about a few things: pizza, pink unicorns, core values, and down and dirty, interesting conversation with some amazing people. However, the biggest one that I've spent most of my career on is entrepreneurship and scale. You see, look, my first few years in business, I spent like probably a good 5 years of my life getting my freaking teeth kicked. I mean, really getting crushed. And I learned a lot during that time period. So I spent the greater part of the last couple of years helping entrepreneurs scale their businesses in a meaningful way without going through the same growing pains that I did. And what I realized is that CEOs and business leaders don't know if they can scale, and thus they do the right thing at the wrong times. This causes them to lose clarity, lose momentum, alignment, and the bottom line is you lose money. And look, you don't have to do that. It's why I created what I call the scalability assessment. And you can access it 100% for free. That's right, guys. There are perks to listening to the Greatness Machine. All you have to do is go to DariusScale.com. That's DARIUS scale, SCALE.com. And there you can check to see if your business is set up to scale properly. It's going to give you a scalability score at the end, and it's also going to give you some clarity on what you can do next. Once again, guys, that's www.itsdariusscale.com. Once again, guys, it's DariusScale.com. And now back to the show.
I got on the 1st of January. It's now the 24th. I'm 24 days into this thing, and it's like my wife's probably going to leave me. No, it's not, I know it's not funny, but no, I agree. We have an agreement that I get till January 30th, and then she's probably going to put me in Clubhouse jail. But yeah, it's been unbelievable. I walked into a room. It was called Felicia's Dinner Party, and it was Felicia Horowitz, Ben Horowitz's wife, of Andreessen Horowitz fame in Silicon Valley, MC Hammer, Fab Five Freddy, Tiffany Haddish, and some guy on stage talking about diversity and inclusion, and 5,000 people in the audience. Now, mind you, the app is in beta. It's not even out. You have to get invite only. So I use my invite on a friend, Jimmy Ferris. You owe me one, Jimmy. No, he and I are on a bunch of stages now on Clubhouse, but I ended up getting a couple more. But you only get one invite. I didn't know that, and it was fine. I'm just happy to give it to Jimmy, but they've really mastered the exclusivity thing there. But the real cool thing about it is it's voice only, so there's no typing. You have to go off the app. So we're in like WhatsApp, and we're in our DMs and Instagram, and that's the only way you can really communicate outside the app. So people are on these stages, and it's only verbal. And it's the wild, wild west. And I will tell you, I've been on social media since 1999 with Friendster. I've never, ever, ever in my whole life seen anything. It is unbelievable. People are on there 18 hours a day, 24 hours a day. And the moderators, so there's moderators on the stage, and then there's speakers, and then there's the audience. You can raise your hand, they pull people up. And I'm talking to people like BJ Fogg and Marshall Goldsmith. And I've met Marshall before and know him, but I never met BJ Fogg before. I quote him in chapter 7 of my book, The Core Value Equation. I talk about his amazing book, Tiny Habits. But here I was hanging out with BJ, and I'm hanging out with Anil, who's one of the top guys at Stanford doing amazing things in leadership. And I'm hanging out with Grant Cardone, who is, some wheeling dealing guy that most people know in real estate world, but pretty cool guy actually. Hanging out with Paris Hilton. Like, I don't give a shit about celebrity, but I've never hung out on stage with Paris Hilton before, and Dwayne, the guy from FUBU, and all these people, Damon John, excuse me, not Dwayne, but yeah, Damon John, never hung out with him before. And that's the power of this app. The connectivity is unbelievable. And I'm going to say this right now. I think this app's going to change the world. And I said this on one of the stages. My good friend Kunal Sood pulled me up in this conscious leadership room. And I said, I believe this app is going to democratize leadership and democratize information. because you can legitimately sit in the crowd, raise your hand, talk to a thought leader. First of all, you get to listen to them for hours and hours for free. And I think some of this stuff will change. The app just raised $1 billion at $1 billion valuation. So they just raised at $1 billion valuation, their Series B. So, and they're talking about doing tipping, and they're talking about doing subscriptions to rooms. So they're obviously thinking about how they're going to monetize this. But if they get this right, this is going to be a thing where you can go in there and anyone can hang out and talk to people like myself, or I'm interviewing Jordan Harbinger in an upcoming show. And you're talking to these people who you would never talk to. It would be really hard to just cold email them. And if someone cold emails me, unless there's a reason, like a profound reason, I'll be polite, but I'm probably not going to be like, yeah, here's 30 minutes on my calendar. And that's normal. That makes sense. But this thing's crazy. You sit there and listen for hours and hours. It's dark, dark, dark rabbit hole. And I'm telling you this, I've met some amazing people on there. Amazing. I mean, absolutely amazing. Game changer, world changers, VCs, speakers, people who are doing amazing things in the nonprofit world. The list is on. It goes on and on. And I will tell you that from my perspective, I think this app is going to be a game changer in social media. I think it's going to be a game changer in the world. And my position on this is that right now we have a crisis in this world, in the United States of America, where we need to level up. We need to level up as people. We need to level up as leaders. We need to level up as entrepreneurs. And I just see that an app like this really levels the playing field. It makes it where you can get information on things you want to learn and ask the question. I mean, I've spent, no joke, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars as a CEO investing in my education. Post-college, this is after college. This is just me going to like conferences and being in CEO groups and going to EO and being in these private things and just learning, reading books, hiring consultants, just learning how to be better at what I do. And I'm on this thing, I don't know, sometimes 10 hours a day and answering people's questions. Questions nobody was there to answer of my own. And I'm going to just say this, and I'm getting a lot of my questions answered. So I'm going to go on the record right now and saying, I think Clubhouse, there may be another cool new club, the club, as we were talking about earlier in the show, there will be a new club at some point, and the B teamers may be the ones left on Clubhouse. But right now, this place is fucking Studio 54. And I encourage all of you, if you can get on there, do some learning. Don't do what I'm doing necessarily and live on the thing. But this is a pretty incredible opportunity. It's a cultural phenomenon, and I'm really kind of pumped to be a part of it. So yeah, with that said, if you are on Clubhouse, please feel free to follow me and check me out, and love to have you guys support the show. So thank you so much. And yeah, this is just it's an amazing app. So I'm at The Real Darius on Clubhouse. Check me out on there. And thank you guys so much. Appreciate you. Talk to you soon.
You are listening to The Greatness Machine, and that's a wrap for today. Guys, The Greatness Machine is all about two things: people who are living their passions and those who are creating greatness in the world. And we feature these messages and speakers so it can help you step into your greatness within your own life and your own business. If you love what you heard, subscribe to the show on whatever podcast platform you're tuning in from, and leave us a review. We love getting reviews for the show. If the episode made you think of someone who is leveling up in their business and life, print screen it, share it with them. Leaders are the best givers, and after all, we're all here to learn from one another. You can also go to our website, www.thegreatnessmachine.com. That's www.thegreatnessmachine.com, and on there, you'll see special tools to help you scale your business faster, show notes for the episode to help you integrate the lessons, and you will also get links that came out during the show. So on there, look, you can also grab a copy of my book, The Core Value Equation, which is a resource for helping CEOs and business leaders establish core values from their teams that don't suck. And mind you, a lot of them suck. Get access to this and more at www.thegreatnessmachine.com. With that said, you guys, look, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I love you. Peace. We out of here. See you guys next time.
She's my lover.